Hello and welcome to our Friday afternoon community live discussion. Today we are going to be talking about fasting and feasting in survival mode, and we'll share a little bit more about our title and the subject for today in just a second. But first, I always like to introduce everyone who's jumping on with us. If you're catching this live or on the rebroadcast, we welcome you. We'd like to give you a little bit of a rundown on how this format works. The first half of this time frame of this video, Michael and I are going to be sharing some statistical information and our thoughts about the topic today. And the second half of this video, we open up the floor to our community members and welcome you and answer any questions or comments that you might have for us. If you're new, please take a second to hit that subscribe button on YouTube and hit that little bell icon. A lot of our community members are saying that they're not being notified when we go live, so you got to make sure you hit that bell icon. And then on Facebook, please hit that like button and make sure that you're set up for notifications as well. And always, we invite you to give us a thumbs up if this information is relevant to some of the changes that you're trying to make for your own life. And always feel free to share this with your own community as well. So here we go. Today we're going to talk about fasting and feasting in survival mode, and we're going to keep the conversation based on some information that Michael and I just came across and how it is applicable to our life and how it is we want to share this with you guys. I know for some people we have very strong beliefs about our own nutritional lifestyle, and Michael and I are always fully respectful of everyone and their way of living their life and the way they think about their nutrition. That is what we encourage in this community. This is just how we feel and some information we want to share with you. So by no means is this going to be, you have to do it absolutely this way. It's just some things for you to consider and evaluate, and then make the discussion or the with you and who you live with and who you feast with, or make the decision for yourself whether this is applicable or not.
Right.
So we're going to talk about protein, a subject that we always love to talk about, and it always seems to bring up some controversy in this community, but we love it. So what we want to talk about is proteining and where you're getting your protein from, and why it is we are not living our lives when we open up our feasting window as if we are in survival mode. Statistics just came out. I just read an article that came out just the other day. Michael, you can talk about some of the stats on it, about our youth and how a 2015 study was just done, and our youth, so 20-year-olds and up, and the increase in cancer statistics with people now starting as early as the age of 20, and how it is directly related to nutrition and nutritional lifestyles that we're choosing to live. And I don't know about you, but I know, I always think like, oh my gosh, if I could just go back to my 20s again. And I read this study and I was like, there's no way I would want to be in my 20s today, not being informed about what's going on with our food industry and the choices that we have to make for ourselves if we want to survive. So Michael, why don't you share some of the stats that were in that article?
Yeah, this study that was done, it was adults 20 and older, and they found new cases, 80,000 new cases directly related to food, to a poor diet. And that was kind of shocking. I mean, but we hear it all the time, because we hear about, people that you wouldn't expect to have cancer that are getting cancer. And by no means are we saying that if you have cancer, it's your fault the way you've been eating. That, I mean, you could eat a super clean diet and you could still get cancer nowadays. But there are some direct correlations now scientifically with what people are eating and having cancer. So we're going to share some of those things and some of the stats that have come out.
And a lot of it goes to nutritional, and I want to put emphasis on this word, choices, right? So this is where I always say, like, we should be feasting as if we're in survival mode, because we have a choice, right? So we have a choice on how we want to survive and how long we want to survive. And I know for us, we talk about it all the time here, how we want to survive to be, age gracefully and successfully and be around for our grandkids. And a lot of this has to do with the choices that we're making. Like, how are you wanting to survive? And it is just a matter of educating yourself and making choices. And oftentimes the choices that we make when we think about it just being different from what we're used to doing, it seems like a burden, or it's going to take a lot of time, or it's so inconvenient, when the reality is you just have to change your mindset around it. And then once you change your mindset and you experience it, you realize that it is just a super simple choice, and you're going to choose this over this, and just really make some improvements to your nutrition.
And caution, you have to weave through a lot of these studies, because one of the studies that we read, they talked about things that you can do to have a better diet, and that's increase your dairy and your grains and these kind of things. It's like, wait a minute, okay, now we know that the grains are bad too, and if our dairy's getting pumped full of hormones, then the dairy's not good either. So you have to kind of wade through all that. And one of the risk factors that they talk about, what we're going to talk about today, is the risk factors with meat nowadays. And meat and colas with sugar is causing a lot of rectal cancer and colon cancer and diabetes. And I mean, it's the increase. I mean, it's really sharp right now statistically with what's going on in those areas. And
well, if you're getting your dairy from the same place you get your steak, then they have the same issues in them. So like Michael said, a lot of these surveys, depending on what side the conversation goes on, will create suggestions for you based on their slant to the survey. And so that's why I always say, like, read these research documents and read these statistics and read the information that you're getting with kind of like one eye open kind of situation. I'm like, okay, does this make sense for me? Am I going to increase my dairy intake so I can get protein because I'm decreasing my animal meat consumption? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So why would I increase one just to decrease the other? And so we want to really stop and think before we hyper react to these kind of things and go, how does this apply and does this make sense? So Michael's totally...
Definitely increase the fruits and vegetable part, and you have to be careful with fruits now too because of the sugars. But
so everything should be done in moderation. And the beautiful thing about fasting and feasting, as you guys know in this community, is the longer you fast, the less opportunity you have to screw something up. And we can really survive on so much less food than we think we can. So you're reducing the amount of time that you're exposing yourself to things. You're realizing through mindset shifts and time and consistency, building up your fasting maturity, all the things we talk about here, that you can survive with a lot less food than you think. So you have less risk and you have less opportunity to screw things up if you just shrink down the amount of time that you're going to spend in your feasting window. And then when you feast on the things that are going to make you look and feel your best.
Yeah, and before we start talking about what we found out about some red meats, is that you can still gain muscles and not have all this red meat. So I think that's kind of a false thing that goes around out there, that you have to eat these large amounts of red meat and get your protein from that source, and you don't have to. I mean, you can look at gorillas and horses and even cows eat grass. I mean,
they're supposed to be eating grass.
Yeah. But there's definitely a lot of good protein that you can get from vegetables.
Yep.
And people, I mean, like, we hear it a lot in our community that people don't want to believe that.
Yeah. So I did some experimenting. I shared with you guys, like, last month we went more meat protein, and I felt thick and I felt fluffy, and I just felt really weighed down, and I looked fluffy and thick. And the last 2 weeks, I've really I'm probably like 90% plant-based. And it's amazing. In 2 weeks, like, my body is just shredding away all of that fluff and all of that extra fat I picked up, and I'm super lean, and my arms are looking really toned and muscular. I feel really, really strong. So I always like to prove in this community, like, you don't have to be one way or the other. You have to figure out what works for you. And I know there are some very legit reasons why people need to consume animal protein. They just function better that way. So if you're that person that needs animal protein, just do your research and make sure that you're getting the best of the best, and that you don't have to consume as much as you think you have to consume. So just cut back a little bit, and then get plenty of different variety of animal sources. And fish sources and things like that. So you can kind of keep it in rotation and you're not just relying on one type.
And that's, before you get into that, that's something you have to keep in mind. Like, we're not saying that you should never eat red meat and red meat is bad for you. We're not saying that, because my grandfather was a pig farmer. He had cows, chickens, hogs, gigantic vegetable garden, and they were all really healthy. My mom and her brothers and sisters, they were all very healthy people. But the source was from a farm. They weren't pumped full of hormones. They weren't spraying all kinds of pesticides. So, it's a whole different ball game today, when they want to get stuff quick to market, to sell, to get it on the store shelf so you can buy it and it looks red and it looks, it's the right color and everything, so you can be satisfied and have a nice big juicy steak.
Right.
So
the problem is, especially with us in this community as we age, is that our bodies start to decrease in their own production of certain hormones. And one of those hormones is insulin-like growth factor. Its acronym is IGF-1. And that is the protein that is in our red meat. So if you're over consuming that type of protein and you're pumping yourself full of a hormone that your body is trying to naturally through time decrease, then you're going against your body's own chemistry. And this is why I say, everything we put in our mouth, it causes a chemical reaction. And so if you're that like red meat and potato person, and you're doing that on a regular basis 4, 5, 6 times a week, then now your body has all these hormones that are being put into it that your body's trying to decrease, and that becomes problematic. The same thing for women and estrogen type of things. So little known fact I just learned was that one store-bought chicken breast, so meaning you're not raising your chicken in your own backyard, so one store-bought chicken breast has as much estrogen in it as one birth control pill. So I don't know about you, but I don't want to take birth control pills at 53. I don't want my husband taking birth control pills. I don't want my 12-year-old daughter taking birth control pills, and I don't want my 18-year-old son taking birth control pills. So why would we eat chicken? And we used to eat chicken every single night. Why would you eat chicken in that big of that much abundance or that regularly, right? So if you eat chicken every single day, you are on a birth control cycle. Think about that. You're on the cycle of a birth control packet, just like a woman who is taking birth control pills. Who wants that? And this is again why so many women, and I have had so many friends in the last year pop up on their Facebook page. It says, they're like, I never thought this would happen, but I'm the 1 in 8 who now has breast cancer. And you're like, what? How did you get breast cancer, right? Well, we just think we're doing all the right things. We're gonna eat chicken over beef, or we're gonna eat this over that, but we have no idea what our food is being pumped with. And it goes back to those statistics of those 20-year-olds up to our age who are now in this majority of people who are coming down with cancer. And it does go back to nutritional choices.
And if you think for a minute, like, okay, well, if this is so true, then, and it's scientifically proven, then why does no one know about this? Well, you don't know about it because there's big, huge money involved. I mean, think back to Oprah talking about mad cow. I mean, like, we have less than 100,000 in all of our community, our social media communities. So no one's really paying attention to what we're talking about. But when you're as big as Oprah, or you're big as someone that could really give you some good information, they're not going to talk about these things because it's too dangerous, and they will get sued because the meat and dairy industry, they do not want you to say bad stuff about them, and you won't say bad stuff about them.
Right.
And a lot of this stuff some of this data on the IGF-1 stuff has been out there for over 10 years. It should be like one of those storm alarms, right? That you hear in your neighborhood.
Flood warnings.
There's a tornado coming. We should be hearing sirens going off, and it should be like, we're in an epidemic, people. Like, there's some stuff going on that you should know about. you don't hear about any of this stuff. No one talks about this because
Right.
everybody's afraid of getting sued.
Right.
So.
And in 2 times in our relationship, we changed our diet, both of us, when we were having fertility problems. So no known reason for us not being able to have a baby. We had Logan. It was easy. Pregnancy was fantastic. Get pregnant again like 4 years later after going on a very, very specific diet for 3 months. So, you know, they say like if you're taking birth control pills, get off of them for 3 months and then you can get pregnant, right? Well, the same thing happened for us, except I was never on birth control pills. My body can't take that level of hormone in my body. And so we changed our diet for 3 months. 3rd month we get pregnant. Sadly, that we lost that baby to a miscarriage. We went back around a whole nother year of struggling to conceive our beautiful little daughter, Gabby. And 3 months we went on that same diet plan, and diet meaning like we were very, very specific about the food that we were consuming. I made sure everything was organic. Meat was limited, no caffeine, no alcohol, nothing processed. 3rd month, like a charm, pregnant again. Explain that, right? And so what we need to consider as we're aging is what are we pumping in our bodies hormone wise, and how is our body chemically handling that? And what happens is we create this backlog of hormones that causes these bad chemical reactions, and then we end up with cancer and heart disease and diabetes and all the things that a lot of us are already mildly suffering from. And thank goodness now we're aware and we can make the changes in our nutrition. We can fast away a lot of that and we can get ourselves back to being healed. But what if you don't know? And what about our poor youth that doesn't know, and they're out there eating fast food and they're thinking that they're doing the right thing, but they're not at this level of information yet. And I think that is the scariest part for sure. Something else I wanted to say also is with fasting, we know that when we are fasting long and feasting well, and we put our bodies into that state of autophagy, and we put ourselves into that state of glycogen depletion so we can become fat adaptive, that we know that our body actually churns out new protein cells, right? We know that we take the damaged and dead parts of protein and we can recirculate new protein cells. So if we think about this, the fact that our body can take stored protein and recirculate it back into our system, why do we need to overconsume protein? We have it readily available, and our body is so intelligent, it knows to take that stuff that's not being utilized and recirculate it through our system. So then if you're adding in protein shakes and you have your animal protein and you're like, I gotta have my 6 eggs every day and I gotta have this protein thing and that protein thing, and your body's also producing protein cells itself, you are definitely over-proteining yourself, and that's when we start to fall into some of those problems as well.
And the good news is, and all this maybe bad news for some people,
all good news,
is that there are some farmers that are coming in line now that are they're really very interested in farming clean. They don't want their consumers to be sick. They don't want the citizens of our country to be sick with what they're growing. So they're changing like things they need to do to treat their soils and how to keep the bugs off their plants without using, Monsanto and these products that are causing people to be ill. So that's the good news, and if you do your research and if you're going to eat meat, eat grass-fed, grass-finished, it's not pumped full of hormones, and you can have a nice juicy steak that you can enjoy, and you can get some good protein from it, of course in the right proportion, and go for it. But just know that anything on a store shelf, most of the stuff, almost 100%, has the IGF-1 in it that is, like Diane was talking about, is
the hormone your body's trying to not produce. Yeah, and you're pumping it.
That's what's causing the cancers and the diabetes. And
inability to lose weight, all those things. Okay, so how much protein should we consume? So I'm not a big macro counter. You guys all know that. But I think we should have a guideline or like a number that we can visualize in our head. So the latest thing that I could find is that we should be taking our body weight in kilograms and multiplying that by 0.37. So we should have 0.37 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. So for me, that's about 28 grams of protein. Don't do the math on that. Yes, I'm a big girl. I am a heavy girl. Like 28 for me, for most people, for most women, it's a lot less than that. And for Michael, it's 33 grams of protein. I know for a fact, just because I can do the numbers in my head, that my break fast, totally vegan protein shake every day, meal replacement shake, nutrient dense meal that I have, is about that amount of protein grams. So then if I go and have a steak for dinner or a piece of chicken for dinner, now I'm over proteined for my day. So don't be afraid to get your protein from plant sources. Don't be afraid to get your protein from, if you do some sort of break fast shake or something, just visualize how many grams of vegetable protein is in that, and then know, like, oh my gosh, I might be able to satisfy all my protein requirements right here. Also knowing that if you just came out of a nice long clean fast, now you have this new recirculated protein in your system as well, so you've got that in there. And then have a nice bowl of vegetables for dinner when you get ready to close out your feast.
Pound for pound, you're going to get more protein from broccoli than you are a steak.
Okay, so here it says a half a cup of steamed cauliflower yields 1 gram of protein. So half a cup of steamed cauliflower is not very much cauliflower. A medium baked sweet potato contains around 2 grams of protein, and an artichoke has 4 grams of protein. Like, I could eat 2 or 3 artichokes in a sitting. Think about that. Like, if I had 2 artichokes, that's 8 more grams of protein that you can get in your day, and that's all plant-based. So don't be afraid to let go of some of that protein. Make sure you know the source of where you're getting your animal protein from. We're not 100% vegan. I have no plans of going 100% vegan, but I'm not going to be consuming animal protein on a daily basis the way I used to be. I'm not going to be consuming a bunch of eggs the way I used to be. And we have to think too that, if a chicken breast has the equivalent of 1 birth control pill in it, what's in our eggs? Well, we have the same problem there as well, right? Because those chickens are producing those eggs. So it's not just the chicken breast, it's the eggs as well.
And if you think your organic chicken doesn't have hormones in it.
Yeah, so if one chicken in an organic, what would you call it, farm, I guess, of chickens gets sick, the veterinarian comes in and treats every chicken in that coop. So one chicken's sick, every chicken gets treated with antibiotics. So you're getting antibiotics whether you need them or not. And those chickens can still be labeled as organic. So don't be fooled, again, by a lot of those fancy packaging labels and a lot of the marketing ploys that are out there. It's still organic, but it's also still full of antibiotics. So you want to make sure that you know the source that you're getting your food from. I know when we buy our chicken, we buy any of our meat, we really like to stay with Butcher Box, and that seems to be a really good source that we trust. So far, no articles have come out against them, so we trust that source.
Been pretty lucky at Whole Foods.
Whole Foods is a good place to go as well, and then Costco's really up their game. We're huge fans of Costco. Just make sure you're reading the labels thoroughly. Don't just look for the flashy, big marketing words. Spend some time reading the labels. Make sure you know that what you're getting for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything else that we wanted to talk about? I think that's it, right?
That was it.
Yeah. So be careful with hormones, with antibiotics, with hormones that you're putting in your body, that your body's trying to naturally decrease. You are not over proteining your body. That's for sure. I got about 2 more weeks on my very, very minimal animal protein project that I'm doing with my body. And I can tell you that I have more visible muscle right now than I did like 2 weeks ago. And that's just because I've cut out animal protein, that's cut out all that probably hormonal fluff that I was holding on to that I've been able to let go of. And then do that little calculation, 0.37 per kilogram of body weight is about what you need for your protein consumption on a daily basis. Okay, I came totally unprepared. You wanna pull up our YouTube comments here, and I will read the Facebook page while you're doing that. Okay, so Diane is here. Girlfriend, nice to see you. Maggie's here. Mimi's here. Your talks have been great week. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We're trying to up our game with a little bit more interesting content. So thanks for noticing. Teresa from the May course, welcome, girlfriend. Your F3 course will be available for you this afternoon. Alicia, what are your recommendations on feeding your gut flora? I have been eating jicama and kimchi for fiber. What do you suggest other foods I can eat? I am not a huge
That's coming up on here.
I don't have a lot of information on that. I don't really think along those terms. So I know a lot of fermented type of things and all that kind of stuff. I just like to leave my gut empty as long as I can to kind of let it kind of reset its own microbiome. And I don't really take in anything specifically to reset it. I just kind of let it do its own thing, and that's been working pretty well. I know, what's that other stuff? Is it called Restore?
Restore.
There's something out on the market called Restore. I forget the doctor who invented it or who sells it, but that's supposed to be really good to help keep your body, your gut on level 2, so you can research that. It's called Restore. Karen, watching this from New Zealand, but I am not sure if our dairy, chicken, and meat products are filled with hormones. I have heard that ours are not. Who knows? Yeah, I would say probably not. Seems to be a U.S. problem. But, you know, it's that thing that you can kind of just ask around and read labels and stuff too. But it seems to be really bad here more than anywhere else. Connie, hello. Haven't seen you for a while. Marie, hello. Edith is here. Jessica's here. Margaret, May graduate. If you're on the fence about if you're going to join the course, do it. Worth the money and time, information, and motivation in abundance. Oh, Margaret, thank you for saying that. She just graduated today from our May course. So 3 weeks ago, she was looking, or probably a month ago, probably looking just like a lot of you guys are, and she jumped in and she says she loved the course. So thank you so much, girlfriend. And your F3 course is going to be available for you this afternoon as well. So keep an eye out on your inbox. Teresa, I love chatting with you guys live. September 2018 grad. Thank you. Bonnie, I just worked out. I'm in the January 2017 graduate. Great content. Thanks, you guys. Oh, congratulations on getting a workout in too. Good for you, girlfriend. And then Elva or Sherry just had chicken quesadilla and stomach blew up like a balloon. There you go. It could be the quesadilla, the tortilla part. So you have to make sure you know where your tortilla is coming from. A lot of tortillas have soy. So there you go, right there. Soy. The second thing is just make sure you know what kind of cheese if you didn't make it yourself. There's a really good Swiss cheese that's out there that doesn't have any milk hormones in it. Doesn't bother me at all. I'm a huge, I always get an immediate reaction. Manchego cheese is always a good option. Siete tortillas are fantastic because they are like almond or cassava. What are the other ones? Do they have a coconut one too? I don't remember.
I think so.
So that's the only tortillas that we consume. And then, yeah, you got to check your chicken for sure. Sorry you had to go through that. And then very applicable content and timely. Yeah, for sure. Here's the thing too. This is what I've always said, and I've said this my whole life. I've never been a big red meat eater. I've always been more on the vegan side. I'm not a big dairy eater because it just had a bad reaction for me. So it's always been intuitive for me to live this way. What was I going to say? Now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, go ahead. If it comes back.
Protein.
Yeah, I forget what I was going to say. But I've always said this. This is what I was going to say. I'm from San Diego, California. If anybody here is from San Diego, California, you know about Alberto's Taco Shops. Alberto's Taco Shops has the best beef rolled taquitos and the best carne asada burritos in the entire world. If you were to plop a carne asada burrito in front of me right now, I would say thank you, yes, I will take it, and I would consume it, and I would enjoy every stinking bite of that thing. But I'm not going to do that every day, and I'm not going to seek out opportunities to have those kind of things. So make exceptions when the exceptions are important to your life. And then the rest of the time, be in survival mode. Make decisions that are going to help you survive this food crisis that we're in. Make exceptions that are going to help you get to tomorrow feeling fantastic. So we are in this sort of survival mode type of atmosphere, and we have to make decisions accordingly, right? So think about that when you're making decisions about how you're going to feed yourself and the choices you're going to make when you go to the store and purchase some things. Eat less and open up that food budget to buy things that are going to be of higher quality.
Okay, let me get rid of the...
Michael's getting all the nasty people off of YouTube. Okay, so let's see. Robin from Virginia, welcome. I'm going to start at the top, and we'll just catch them as they go. Laura, hello from Corpus Christi. Denise is here. Lynn is here. Jamie, Jay, Fern, hello, new to your live chats. I've been watching for a few weeks now. Love all your information. Well, I'm glad you got to jump on live. That's awesome. Tracy from Michigan is here. Renee, hello. Michael and Anna Mary. February 2019 class. I thought of you as I ate my freshly picked cucumber from my tower garden during my feast today. Oh my gosh, you're lucky. That would be fantastic. Congratulations on harvesting your own vegetables. Shola, hello. Little Jordan, hello. Susan, for a 2018 grad, saw organic grass-fed milk at Walmart today. With spending less on food, I can now put more money into quality. Exactly. And that's why we want to take a break every now and then too, and just take that money that we were frivolously spending on things that we thought we were supposed to be consuming, and you can put it right back in to better quality food for sure. Hello from North Dakota. We get fresh fish from the lakes around us and try to have fresh venison, no hormones. Yeah, that's awesome. My grandfather used to be a gardener and a hunter, and so we used to have fresh venison, and we also used to have, he lived in the city, but he took the side lot of his yard and harvested his own corn. Oh my gosh, the best corn ever. We had corn all year because they would freeze it, and it was like the real deal corn. So yeah, if you can get fresh stuff, for sure, that is awesome. There's so many young women who can't have kids, and I've never heard so many having kidney stones. Yep, for sure. Try again from San Francisco Bay Area. Welcome. Shelly, hello. Harley from Oregon, thanks for jumping on. Not worried about the chickens from my backyard. Yeah, good for you, girlfriend. Keep doing that if you can. Robin from Virginia, happy Memorial Day, thank you. Gretchen, hello. Paige, only eat grass-fed finished meat. Worried about the pesticides and oxalates in store-bought vegetables. What's your opinion on that? I would say wash them. I think even organic vegetables, don't get too comfortable. We wash everything, and I'm trying to connect with my friend's friend who created an amazing fruit and vegetable cleaner, and see if I can get her to give us some information about her product, and when I get it, I'll share it with you guys. We wash everything. If you don't have a vegetable or fruit spray cleaner, you can also make the same kind of thing with vinegar, water, and lemon juice, and you just mix it together in a bottle, and you can spray your fresh fruits and vegetables with it. And then we also kind of scrub them down with a little bit of a sponge or a brush too. So anything that you can do to get anything off the surface, you're doing better than most. So good for you on that one. Can you help? Not on keto, but low carb and sugar free. About 16 hours IF, but no progress yet. Going on 1 month. Yeah, Laura, you got to jump into our class that starts on the 8th. Ask anyone who's in this audience today who is a graduate of my May course. They will tell you, don't spend any time frustrated. Just jump into the class, and by this time next month, you'll be talking about how different your experience has been for sure. So jump into the class for sure. And then Jay, so glad I joined your class, down 6.5 pounds since starting and finishing the May class. Congratulations, girlfriend. Your insights provided so many aha moments for me. Thank you so much for sharing. Jay, you are super welcome, and congratulations on losing 6.5 pounds. The intent of the course is never weight loss, but when you have a weight loss, that is a true sign that you have balanced out your hormones and that your body is healing internally, and it just gets better from there. So keep the healing process going. It's time and consistency from this point forward, and just really practice maturing in your fasting and feasting for sure. Okay.
Maybe we're just going to ignore this guy.
Okay, yeah, he keeps coming back. Okay, let's see. Who else? And then Lori, I missed what you said about protein shakes. Do we really need them? No, not at all. I love protein. Let me change that. I don't drink a protein shake. I drink a meal replacement shake that is full of nutrients. So the protein actually is really low on it. And so I do it as a quick way to break my fast with nutrient dense types of foods when my body is depleted after a long fast. So I've been doing that for 9 years. Michael does it, my son does it, Gabby does it on occasion, and then we load it up with some extra fats and stuff. So do you need to do that? No, absolutely not. For me, it's just convenient and I love it. I would drink every meal if I could. I would say I would drink all the time, but it's really inconvenient for everybody else, so I have to eat solid meals. I just prefer that. So for me, I like it, but not everyone does, and so you have to find your own feasting things that help you look and feel your best while you live your life most authentically. And if drinking stuff isn't authentic for you, then a shake isn't gonna light your fire for sure. So you have to find your own thing. But I love mine, and it's all vegan, and so it's really easy for us. Okay, let's see if there's anything else over here on Facebook. Deborah, hi Diane. What is your thoughts on health benefits from a 7-day water fast? I think from my research and my personal experience, anything over 4 days should really be done under the supervision of a doctor. Now, other people feel really comfortable and confident. They thrive in that type of fasted state. So I say that's the thing you have to make your own call on. I will never, as of today, fast for more than 4 days on water only. And then you also have to understand why you're doing that. So when you're doing a water only fast, the benefit of that is really cellular regeneration, that deep healing that we get, with our mitochondria and our DNA and all that kind of stuff. So water only fast should be done in a moderate type of fashion. Some people say like quarterly a water fast, or even once a year water fast could be very beneficial to what we reap health wise. I can tell you, sitting right here today, yes, like if you want to get your body into ketosis and fat burning and really take advantage of what autophagy can bring, you can do that like on a dime. Yesterday morning I tested my blood ketones, no evidence of ketosis at all. I worked out fasted yesterday. I stayed fasted all day yesterday. I was at a 24-hour mark, tested my blood ketones. I was at 0.6. Tested them again this morning before my workout. I was at 0.9. I worked out for over an hour today, completely fasted, nothing in my body except water. And then tested this afternoon about 2 hours after my workout, and my ketones were at 1.3. I'm completely fasted right now. You can tell by the speed in which I'm speaking that I am fully in ketosis, and I'm experiencing the energized sense of calm. I'm going to test my ketones again after we get done with this, and just see where they are. So it all just sort of depends on why you're doing a 7-day water fast. If you're doing it to get into ketosis, there's a million ways to get into ketosis. I even ate last night, so I'm not multiple day fasting at all. I'm just doing specific things to keep my body in ketosis. And then I jump out of ketosis. I'm going to tell you tomorrow night when Michael gets home, he's going to be working tomorrow. When he gets home, we're going to have some siete chips, and I'll be out of ketosis, and that's fine too. So you have to really figure out why it is you're wanting to do a 7-day fast, and if it makes sense for you, and then kind of determine from there what you want. If it's just to get into ketosis, you can do that a bunch of different ways. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Definitely keeping that protein low will help you stay in ketosis as well. So hope this helped your wheels to start to spin. I hope this will help you go research some stuff. I hope it will help you feel confident in the fact that you don't have to over protein your body. And then if you are the person that is kind of questioning animal protein anyway, I hope this gives you the confidence and a little bit of information so that you can walk away from some of those opportunities if you feel like it might suit you best.
Yep,
right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, if you have any questions, always feel free to come back and leave them in the comment section or reach out to us. We're always welcome any comments or questions from the community. And then go Google stuff, right? Google increased rates of cancer. Go Google animal protein. Go Google how much protein you should be consuming, and educate yourself and arm yourself so that you will go into these situations and decision-making processes with some confidence and some education as well.
Yep.
Right?
Have
Awesome.
a fantastic weekend.
We won't be here on Monday because it's Memorial Day, and so we are going to take the day off and spend it with our family. Hope you guys have a fantastic Memorial Day in whatever way that you decide to celebrate a holiday like Memorial Day, and then we'll be back on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll talk about another interesting conversation about what's going on in our community.